Hello everyone, welcome back to the BSC podcast. This week we're going to be talking about the TikTok ban that never happened. I recorded a whole segment explaining this TikTok ban. As I was editing it Sunday morning, I get a news update on my phone that TikTok is back live.
And as of today, TikTok is back.
10 minutes later, my daughter's looking at her phone and she's screaming, TikTok is back! We're also going to be talking about Joe Biden trying to save face before he leaves office. We got news on the U.S. Treasury about to close the checkbooks on America the day after Trump gets in office. So is he going to have any money to make any changes? We're going to have a little fun. Got some videos of some Karens going wild. We're going to go into a little bit about CNN wanting to settle their case with Trump for $10 billion. It looks like they're trying to settle out of court. Our main topic is going to be all about RFK and him trying to get the fluoride out of our water, and CNN lying all about it, trying to make him out to be crazy. But he's not. He was right. What he's doing is right. We're going to get into that and a lot more here this week on BSC Podcast. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of the BSC podcast. I'm your host, Denali Patterson, and let's get right into it. It's the end of an era, guys. There's a lot of sad Gen Zers and Gen Alphas running around right now. A lot of stay-at-home moms too. The TikTok ban. It's official. This Sunday, January 19th. It's over. TikTok is over. The Supreme Court has just ruled that the TikTok ban is official. Every single justice voted. That is done. The end of the era. See, you go on TikTok right now and see videos of people losing their mind, crying.
TikTok money ain't nothing.
Now that's all being stripped away from me again, and I'm really worried like the rest of you all are.
This is their gotcha moment to people that were able to have some success on this app.
I am actually scared. Influencers aren't out of touch for crying about the TikTok ban. You're out of touch for not realizing this is a real industry.
I mean, I get it because there's a lot of people that made a lot of money on TikTok. It was an easy way to go viral, so a lot of people were going viral. Yeah, a lot of people are losing money. Probably going to start seeing a lot of people migrating over to YouTube. Apparently, they're migrating over to other apps. I seen one going on. It was called Red Note, which is funny. So supposedly this ban is because the U.S. doesn't want China getting a hold of U.S. information. You know, people's contacts. They get their contacts, all their pictures, all the videos that they recorded that TikTok decided to ban. They have all of that. You know, I'm thinking too, even if they do get banned and they leave, do they have to give up all those files, or they still have those files? With this going on, I guess as a way to rebel, a lot of I guess they're saying a lot of Gen Zers. I guess it's probably more than just the Gen Zers. They're deciding, hey, if you don't want us to, if we're not allowed to use this Chinese app, we're gonna go log on to another one. So the number one app downloaded right now on the App Store, the Apple App Store, is a Chinese app called Red Note, which I seen like little videos and clips of it, and it looks exactly like TikTok. It's the same exact thing, but everything's in Chinese.
It's called Red Note.
Hello, TikTok refugees from the US. Welcome to Red Note, 小红书.
Hi, TikTok refugee. When I opened this app the morning, I was completely shocked. I was thinking, am I getting to the right app?
Now we've got TikTok refugee like you guys flooding 小红书. Is it just me, or this app feels like a new world?
Just like, hey, China, just have our information. We don't care if our government's trying to protect us. Here, take it. I mean, I don't know if it's entirely true that's what the government's trying to do. Honestly, I find it kind of funny because back in, I believe it was in 2020, Trump was the one that initiated the TikTok ban. I believe his Oh yeah, because he always had a thing against China, so he decided that he wants to ban TikTok. He don't want a foreign country to have information about U.S. citizens, so he decided to start the ban. And all these years later, Congress actually passed the bill to have it banned and everything. Now Trump's about to be in office, and he's actually saying he's reconsidering the ban because it actually benefited him. People like Charlie Kirk and other MAGA supporters were on there. They were going viral on their left and right. So that was a place where Trump was able to get in touch with a lot of the youth. He wasn't able to do that in other places. So he's seen TikTok for the good that it could bring. Honestly, I feel like the way that Trump feels about China, he still wants it out of their control. Like I'm pretty sure he's gonna push for an American company to buy it. There's actually in the bill that passed, I guess there's like a loophole, whatever, that the president could actually get an extension, like before the ban actually takes place, and that's I don't know if it's only if, but that's if there's actually a lucrative deal in play. Like if an American company could buy TikTok and it's going on and there's negotiations going on, then the president could actually get an extension. Joe Biden said he ain't gonna do that. He's like, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm gonna give it to Trump.
And as of today, TikTok is back.
Along with all the other shit that I've given to Trump. All the extra debt, all the headaches. Well, actually, no, there's one thing that he's finally decided to do something about. And that's the war over in Israel. Negotiations have finally taken place. Both Israel and Hamas or Iran, whoever's negotiating for the Islams, they all came to an agreement finally. And the U.S. had something to do with that. How convenient. It's funny. There's a video going around of Joe Biden after. Actually, I'm gonna play that video. I'm gonna find that video and I'm gonna play it. But at the end of the video, they asked him something about who's responsible for there finally being a peace deal, and he turned around with a smirk on his face, like, "Who do you think?"
Books credit for this, Mr. President. You or Trump?
Is that a joke? Oh, thank you.
When in reality, this all happened because Trump just a few days ago basically put out a threat saying if that Israel Palestine situation isn't solved, there's gonna be hell is gonna be raised. So like I think I don't know if he's like threatening with nuclear war or whatever the case. Well, he's making threats, and he sounds like he ain't playing. Protect X. Don't let the bigots destroy X. X is a great platform. So we get all the news, stuff that they're not covering on mainstream media. That's where you're gonna get it. We got people on there calling people the N-word and all types of crazy stuff like I was talking about in my other episode. Come on, man. You're just gonna ruin it. You're just gonna ruin a great thing. You should check out that other episode too. At the same time, hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, link. There's gonna be a link somewhere around here for that episode. And then hit like and subscribe. Here is the outlines of the first stage of the Gaza ceasefire deal. The Israeli military will withdraw to within 700 meters, 2,297 feet inside Gaza. So they're allowed to be like a couple football fields inside of Gaza. So they're allowed to be partially in Gaza, not all the way in Gaza, just the beginning. Israel will release about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, including 250 serving life sentences. Damn. Why does Israel have so many Palestinian prisoners? That's crazy. And then look at this. It looked like Palestine, they got some way better negotiators on their side than Israel. Because Palestine groups will release 33 Israeli captives. So Israel got to give up 2,000 prisoners, including 250 serving life sentences, and Palestine only got to give up 33. So is that because Palestine just doesn't have no Israelis in their prisons? Like they're not sitting there taking all these people captives and kidnapping and doing all the crazy stuff that they're being said to do? Because Israel has over 2,000 prisoners. Israel isn't even that big. Like, where are they putting 2,000 prisoners? Palestinian prisoners. That's wild. Palestinians group will release 33 Israeli captives. Israel will allow injured people in Gaza to travel to receive medical treatment. I mean, aren't you supposed to be like a holy land? And you're not allowing people to get medical help? That's crazy. Well, at least they're doing something now, finally. You know, because Trump is coming back. And they ain't want to have to pay hell over there. Or however he phrased it. Israel will open the Rafah crossing with Egypt 7 days after the start of the first stage. Israel forces will begin to pull back from Gaza's border with Egypt, known as the Philadelphia corridor, to withdraw from. So, anyways, this is only for 6 weeks, I believe, the ceasefire. They're going to do the prisoner trade and everything. But then the ceasefire only lasts for 6 weeks. So I guess that'll be Biden's way of saying, look, I did something. Now, Trump, you gotta actually stop it. I did something. I don't know why he took so long. I don't know why he literally waited to the last week of his presidency to do something. He's been talking like he's gonna do something this whole time. And now he's doing something. Talking about the end of his presidency, I came across some disturbing news. The U.S. Treasury Secretary has came out and said the United States is broke. We can't spend no more money. Starting January 21st, we're going to have to go through extraordinary measures to make sure, I guess, they could rebalance the budget. The debt limit does not authorize new spending, so they can't spend no more. Biden spent all the money. He spent all the billions they sent over to Ukraine and Israel and on the immigrants and all the billions he spent. They can't spend no more. The spending has stopped. I guess California is not going to be able to get a blank check like Biden promised. The debt limit does not authorize new spending, but it creates a risk that the federal government might not be able to finance its existing legal obligations that Congress and presidents of both parties have made in the past, Ms. Yellen instead said. I can't not believe that this is intentional. Honestly, I can't. The way the past 4 years have been, I can't believe the way that this guy's going out is not intentional. Like he's going out with a bang. Like, yo, I'm going out with mother. Like I'm going out with a bang. And I'm gonna make sure that Trump has the hardest time as a president. 'Cause I'm pretty sure Biden had some stuff that he had to deal with coming into the presidency. I mean, he became president in the middle of COVID, so I'm pretty sure he had a lot on his plate. And on top of that, clearly he had a deteriorating. His mind was going, like he was going mentally, and he had some of the hardest shit to deal with as a president. Yeah, I feel like he's trying to leave Trump with the same thing. Like, yo, you left me with a hard job. I'm gonna leave you with an even harder one. And guess what? Any initiatives that you want to do, guess what? You can't. There's no money to be spent. Treasury Secretary Miss Yellen, Miss Yellen said you can't spend no more money, Mr. Trump. There ain't no more money to spend. Unless you want the country to go bankrupt, we can't spend no money. So you better hope your little Doge crew that you got going on over there, you better hope they could figure out how we could get some money, because Mr. President, we don't have no money to spend. And guess what? This goes into action the day after he becomes inaugurated. Trump goes into office January 20th, January 21st. You can't spend no money. The checkbooks are closed. We got to go through extraordinary measures. Who the hell knows what that means? Probably some crazy tax hike that they have. Like, it's maybe add another zero to the dollar, like other countries do to devalue our money. I don't know, but it's extraordinary, she says. Wow. Oh, we gotta look at this. We gotta look at this. This is like, I don't understand when these Karens will learn. Like, yo, like, you are not invincible. You can't do whatever you want. And the crazy thing is, this woman is like, she's like the same age as me. She's 36 years old. A Karen at such a young age. Like, you're a millennial. You should know better. You can't do that shit. But let's take a look at this video and a look at this Karen activity and when Karening goes wrong. Road rage Karen the hard way. Skirt. Oh, they must have been beefing before.
Get out of the fucking car! You want to ride my fucking ass? Get out the fucking car there, bitch! Get out! Get out!
Get out the car, dumb bitch.
I didn't touch your fucking car, you dumb bitch! You were on my gun. Come and touch me, because my man's right fucking there. Come and put your fucking hands on me.
Man's right there.
I ain't driving crazy. Your bitch was on my goddamn ass. I went in the fucking other lane. Get out of my face.
Oh, man. Oh!
Bitch.
Oh!
Fuck ass!
Now, who was in the wrong there? Like, that was crazy. This dude straight, like, let's run that back real quick. Like, who was in the wrong here? That man literally dropped that lady. She sounds like an old lady, but yo, she's only 36 years old. I found out who she was afterwards. She's only 36. She sounds like an old lady, but she's not an old lady. She attacked this man. He came out because she hopped out of her car, went up to his car, to his girl, and started wilding out, hitting the car, claiming that she didn't. So he goes over there like, yo, you need to calm down. And what happens? Your bitch was on my goddamn ass. Whatever happens to her after that is all her fault. Like, I hope this isn't one of those cases where the internet goes crazy. Like, oh, find out who this man is. He hurt this woman. He body slammed her. This and that. That was clear as day. That she deserved that. Whatever happens after that, she deserved it. She said, "Get out my goddamn face. Get out my goddamn face." And what he do? He got out her goddamn face. He turned around, and as he's walking away, she swings over his shoulder. Like, that's and in football, you got a flag for that. Over the shoulder, face mask. Yeah, that's a flag. That's a penalty. I think he has some type of training. That might be illegal. That might be like a lethal weapon type move. It's like, yo, that was so smooth how he came back at her. He just straight mollywopped her, scooped her up, dropped her, and walked away. Like, yo, Montez! Yeah, I wasn't able to find the video, but there's a video after that comes after where Montez actually shows up. Montez wasn't even in the car with her. Montez pulls up in his, I think he's like in a white Suburban. And he's like, why the hell did you get out the car? Like, Montez, like, knew, like, this isn't the first time she's done something like this. And then she actually went on Twitter. Basically, someone was asking her if she learned her lesson. She's like, I hope we all did. I hope a lot of people did. Like, yo, y'all Karens needs to stop. Y'all not as protected as you think you are. Like, y'all don't run the world like y'all think you do. Like, if you break the law and someone got to protect themselves, they're within the full, they're legally allowed to. So, yeah, let that be a lesson to all Karens everywhere. Yeah, I got to get into this about the mainstream media. We honestly can't trust none of them. They've shown time and time again they cannot be trusted. They're getting sued left and right. CBS is settling the lawsuit that Trump did against them. The $10 billion lawsuit. Breaking news: CBS is considering settling the $10 billion lawsuit by President Trump for election interference. Let's play the clip of what I'm referencing. This is when 60 Minutes was interviewing Kamala Harris during the election. Every single one of her elections were scripted. Either they were scripted or the questions were vetted and there was no hard-hitting questions. Everything on there was controlled. It was controlled by the Democratic Party, the CIA, the feds. Like, they didn't want certain things getting out. This interview is clear as day, and I don't understand. It's kind of funny. They recorded the interview with Kamala Harris and they put out the interview, and then afterwards they decided to go and put out, I guess, deleted scenes or a full, like, the full thing. And by doing that, they revealed, I don't know if they were doing it to show that, look, we have to do all this to appease to them or whatever the case may be, or I don't know who decided to put the clip out. But by doing that, they showed that they manipulated questions. They asked her a question, they manipulated and threw a different answer. And then they turned around and blew up their own spot. I don't understand what the point was, but now they got a $10 billion lawsuit on their hand. $10 billion. Why so much? I don't know. Probably assassination of character. I didn't really look into the lawsuit. I just know it's a lot of money due to this dumbass mistake from one of the producers somewhere that thought, hey, maybe it's a good idea to show, hey, we're on both sides. We're not on just their side, we're on both sides. But y'all put it out there and lied, deceived the public, and had everybody thinking it was one thing when it was complete other, and swayed a lot of opinions. But let's play the clip. Let's see what I'm referencing.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Complete different answer. She's rambled on, said a whole bunch of nonsense, and they cleaned it up to make her seem a lot more competent than she actually is. Deception on behalf of mainstream media. And on that note, we're going to get to something else that CNN did against my guy RFK Jr. As someone, at first when he was running for office, I gave him a chance. Oh, he's a Kennedy. But then I couldn't really get past his voice, honestly. I didn't really give him a chance. But then I started hearing what he was talking about health and all the vaccines and all the stuff they're putting in our food and the fluoride in the water. And I was like, I like this guy. because there's a lot of bullshit going on. There's actually been a ban on, what was it, red number something. It is a food dye that's actually derived from petroleum. I actually think all food dyes are derived from petroleum, and that's why they're hurting us. Like we're ingesting stuff derived from the same stuff we put in our car to make our car run. We're ingesting it. What do you think it's going to start doing to our bodies? CNN, what was it? I think it was about 2-3 months ago. They put out this clip bashing RFK Jr., basically calling him crazy, basically calling him a nut. Like he doesn't know anything about health. What's he doing talking about health? They're trying to discredit him to make him out to be crazy. So check out this news clip of them discrediting him. And then I'm going to show you an article they put out last week discrediting themselves. Check this out.
Take them seriously, but not give in to the crazy.
I do think that you're right about that. But Dr. Madad, tell us about the fluoride of it all, because I do think there are some rocks to be thrown, frankly, at RFK Jr. about this stuff, because some of it actually is just straight up dangerous on the vaccines. But what about the fluoride?
Yeah.
Well, first, fluoride is a natural occurring mineral. It's not a man-made mineral. And when we talk about adding it to the water supply, it has proven benefits. We have over 75 years of data that has scientifically proven that it has helped, with oral hygiene, dental hygiene. And so it helps prevent decaying cavities. It helps provide just better oral hygiene. It helps with antibacterial properties and the like. And so what it's doing is it's helping both with pain, it's helping with disease, and it's helping with cost. And so these are all really amazing benefits.
So what is
and
the
it's
concern?
across the board.
I've got friends who used to be, frankly, more progressive. Post-COVID, they've become much more conservative about issues just like this. It's almost become a gateway drug to the right to be concerned about some of these health issues. So what are people's concerns about fluoride, and how do you respond? How do you knock those concerns down? Because they're saying all kinds of stuff about fluoride.
So with the current levels that we have in the water supply, and over 70% of the water supply is fluoridated across the United States, it is safe, it's not toxic. When you look at adding in additional amounts of fluoride, even then, the studies have not proven any significant, health adverse effects. So at the current levels, there's across the board, you're seeing meta-analysis, epidemiological analysis, observations that have not shown any correlation with any physical or, mental or even oral, effects, poor effects. And when you look at even higher increases, you're just seeing some minor cosmetic issues.
Natural occurring mineral. Fluoride was first introduced, I believe it was in 1940 by aluminum companies. It was a byproduct of their aluminum, and they needed a way to get rid of it, and they lobbied Congress to allow them to dump it in the waterways and also put it into drinking water. Fluoride does have benefits. It does. It helps our teeth. But the thing is, that could be administered topically, like we do every morning with toothpaste. We brush our teeth, fluoride gets on our teeth. And guess what? The tube of toothpaste tells you to do after you're done brushing your teeth? Not swallow it. You want to know why you're not supposed to swallow it? Because there's fluoride in there. So let me get this straight. You got to spit out your toothpaste because there's fluoride in there. Or you could drink the water. That also has fluoride in there. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get to the professionals on CNN because they know what they're talking. It's helping with pain, it's helping with disease, and it's helping with cost. Fluoride does not help with pain and it does not help with disease. What pain and disease does fluoride help against? Please explain to me that. What pain and disease does fluoride help against? Oh, we'll find out later. We'll see what the CNN article tells us about what fluoride actually does. But, because Dr. Syra Madad is on there, epidemiologist from Harvard Kennedy School, is telling us all how fluoride is so good, and it must be good because she's a doctor. It's on CNN. It's mainstream media. They wouldn't lie to us now, would they? Would they? Why the hell are they politicizing health? Health. We're talking diseases, stuff that's killing us, that's killing our children, that's costing billions upon billions of dollars. That healthcare, that insurance providers have to pay out. New diseases being found every day, billions and probably trillions of dollars being spent on studying these new diseases and coming up with new medications. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies, they're loving it. Like, honestly, they're working hand in hand. The people creating all this stuff and putting the chemicals in our food, and the pharmaceutical companies, they're birds of a feather. Because if the food companies are creating diseases, who's going to cure them? The pharmaceutical companies. Let's not worry about making this stuff healthy, because if this food was healthy and there was no diseases, the pharmaceutical company don't make money. But guess who runs all of it? They're all owned by the same entities. They all have the same investors. The same top investors invested in all these companies. It's the same people. The BlackRocks, the Vanguards. Like, it's all the same people. They're all in bed together. They're funding these people. Now, let's get into the article that CNN released last week. Listen to everything she says about how it could be healthy, how it doesn't cause anything neurological or anything like that. At most, if we increase it, it'll be topical. That causes streaks on the teeth. That's what this doctor from Harvard is saying. But last week, check out this article that CNN released from a study done by, I believe it was by the CDC. Children exposed to higher fluoride levels have lower IQs, a government study finds. Hold on. I got to run back what this lady just said and is at the end of this video. This is a doctor. This is what's crazy about this. Just because a doctor comes on, they get these doctors to come on to prove these dumbass facts from, I don't know what study she found is from. No, it's not significant. But then a government study comes out and completely goes against what they say. And I wonder if they even came out and apologized for spreading these lies, these dangerous lies. But let's listen to what she said one more time before I get into this article.
And when we talk about adding it to the water supply, it has proven benefits. We have over 75 years of data that has scientifically proven that it has helped, with oral hygiene, dental hygiene. And so it helps prevent decaying cavities. It helps provide just better oral hygiene. It helps with antibacterial properties and the like. And so what it's doing is it's helping both with pain, it's helping with disease, and it's helping with cost. And so these are all really amazing benefits.
So what is
and
the
it's
concern?
across the board.
I've got friends who used to be, frankly, more progressive. Post-COVID, they've become much more conservative about issues just like this. It's almost become a gateway drug to the right to be concerned about some of these health issues. So what are people's concerns about fluoride, and how do you respond? How do you knock those concerns down? Because they're saying all kinds of stuff about fluoride.
So with the current levels that we have in the water supply, and over 70% of the water supply is fluoridated across the United States, it is safe, it's not toxic. When you look at adding in additional amounts of fluoride, even then, the studies have not.
That's what the doctor says. Now let's read the article put out by CNN. Talking about this government study. CNN Health. Children exposed to higher fluoride levels have lower IQs, a government study finds. This was released last week on the 16th. On the 6th. Just the first line about this is crazy. A rigorous 9-year research review. 9 years this has been being studied. And just a couple weeks ago, this doctor comes out on CNN and says there's been no studies found concluding that. Well, I mean, maybe I guess the study wasn't done, so they haven't made any conclusions yet. But that's what she was saying. A 9-year research review looking at the relationship between fluoride and the intelligence in children concludes that as fluoride levels rise, IQ drops. What that lady say? We could raise the levels, even at the levels that we're at. We could raise them, and there's no studies have been shown that there's any at the current levels that we have. They could raise the levels, and there's not going to be any significant change. Isn't that what that doctor said? That Harvard doctor said on CNN. Now the CNN news article is coming out. The government has proven them to be wrong. Every 1 part per million increase in fluoride in urine, a way of measuring all the sources of fluoride a person consumes, was associated with roughly 1 point drop in a child's IQ score, the review concluded. Every 1 part per million increase in fluoride in urine, a way of measuring all the sources of fluoride that a person consumes, was associated with roughly 1 point drop in IQ and the child's IQ score, the review concluded. I did a little bit of research after reading this article, and I found in 1 cup of water, on average, there's 2 parts per million worth of fluoride in that water. Every 1 part per million increase in fluoride in the urine was associated with roughly 1 drop decrease in IQ, and there's 2 parts per million in every cup of water. I mean, obviously, when you pee it out, you're gonna have less fluoride because your body's gonna absorb some of that, break it down, stuff. But if you drink a whole bunch of water, you could risk lowering. Well, a child could risk lowering their IQ, according to this study. But it's safe. Nothing neurological or epidemiology, whatever she said. Look at this. A 5-point decrease in a population's IQ would nearly double the number of people classified as intellectually disabled, they rate in their conclusions. This has been in our water system for the past 80 years. 80 years, this has been in America's water, and it's been deemed as healthy by the CDC. So for 80 years, they have been dumbing down, I don't know, intentionally, or they just didn't know, or what. I'm pretty sure there's been studies along the way. I'm pretty sure they knew. They probably had to lobby a whole bunch of money to get this passed. They've been dumbing down our country for the last 80 years. America could probably be so much further than we are. I mean, I guess we're the world's superpower. Everyone wants to come to America. But when you come to America, don't drink the water. Probably why people around the world say Americans are stupid. We have low capacity. Like we're not like, it's in the water. There it is. There's a solution to all of our problems. Stop drinking the water. Either that or take this bullshit out of the water. Like RFK is trying to push the dude. Like they're trying to say that he's crazy because it's so healthy. It's so good for us. It stops pain. An increase in fluoride, you have a chance of raising. I think you have a higher chance of bone cancer, and there's a whole bunch of things that fluoride's not good for you for. The best thing is good for you is to brush your teeth with. You brush your teeth, you get it on the outside of your teeth, it strengthens your enamel, and you spit that shit down the drain. And that's probably contaminating our waterways too. We're spitting it down the drain, it goes into our drain. They probably can't even filter it out. Maybe they do. They probably filter it out. They add more in it, clearly. They think it's good for us. 70% of our country. 70% of our country thinks, 70% of our country thinks it's good for us. There's some states where it's mandated, and there's some states where people could actually vote to have it removed. Probably the 30% where it's not. Places, Puerto Rico, it's actually mandated. Surprise. Like they care about the people of Puerto Rico's teeth that much that they mandate it. Like they're mandated to have fluoride in their water in Puerto Rico. You just want them to have nice teeth, huh? You know, it's the Caribbean. You want people to go there and see people smiling with nice teeth. So you mandate the fluoride in their water. Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason why. Gotta have the smiling Latinos. Study, which was published Monday in the journal JAMA Pediatrics, comes with a backstory. It was concluded by scientists at the government National Toxicology Program, which evaluates chemicals and other things people are exposed to, like cell phone radiation, for the potential to harm health. In 2015, it was subject to several rounds of reviews in a process that some critics charge was designed to delay its public release. They kept having to get reviews so it wouldn't get released to the public. I wonder why. I wonder why they wouldn't want to release a study like that. I wonder if the American people could sue for something like this. Like, could we all come together and sue the government for poisoning us for the last 80 years, dumbing us all down, according to a study put out by their own CDC? Is that possible? I don't know, but this is crazy. A full review was finally published as a lengthy monograph in August and in September, and the study became the basis of a federal judge's ruling ordering the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, to further regulate fluoride to protect children's intellectual development. Simply put, the risk to health at exposure levels in the United States drinking water is sufficiently high to trigger regulatory response by the EPA under federal law, U.S. District Judge Edward Chen wrote in the rule. Who do we trust? Who do we trust nowadays? Like we can't trust the government to decide what's healthy for us or not. Clearly, there was just a ban on red dye number 3. This stuff has been around for years. It's actually a food dye. I believe all of our food dyes. It's derived from petroleum. Petroleum, the same petroleum that's in your car, the oil, gas, diesel, I believe, lubricants, grease, petroleum. That's used to create these food dyes. Food dyes that we ingest damn near in everything. Like, I'm not the smartest person, but I would think the stuff that we put into our car, we should not be putting into our body. Like that's gonna start causing us issues if we're putting the same stuff that's in our car into our bodies. Like, this stuff can't even be broken down. Like, it got to be burned. It's not soluble in water. Like, we're made up of a majority of water. And we're ingesting this stuff every single day in all of our food. We're giving it to our kids. It's going to lead to some bullshit. The common sense, it's going to lead to some diseases and bullshit.
Finally, after how many years, we're not giving the red number 3 to our children and the candies are eating. Guys, it's the kids that are eating these poisons. How crazy is this? And we're letting them all get away with it. But my big question is, why just one at a time? We got 1,600 chemicals that are banned in Europe that are in our food. Why are we banning them one at a time? 28 million of us have died too early. You do the math. For our longevity to be down 7 years from where it should be, how many of us have died too soon? It's tens of millions at least. And it's our food and medicine that's doing it. And we gotta stand up to these tyrants. We gotta make our food safe again. This is like a silent Holocaust, guys. I blame the main culprit here, glyphosate. Guys, as dozens of diseases have gone up, there's 24 plus charts like this. As all these diseases have gone up, autism, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancers, autoimmune diseases, celiacs, you name it, it's been in lockstep with an increased use in glyphosate. This stuff's an antibiotic, a carcinogen, it's an endocrine disruptor, and it chelates our nutrients. Guys, we got a fertility crisis. Our fertility rates are cratering. Men, we don't have as much testosterone as we should. Women don't have the estrogen they should. And instead of the conversation, what are we going to do about it? The corporate media wants us to wave a flag about it. You need to go and celebrate the endocrine disruption. The kids are confused about gender. Well, if you're not on board with it, you're a bigot.
Like, are the people in DC really that dumb? Or are they just really that money hungry? Are they being blackmailed? Like, what is it? If you need help, blink. Blink twice if you're being extorted. Like, what is going on? Were the people back then, and I believe it was in the 40s, were they not intelligent back then? I mean, shit like this is still getting passed nowadays, so I can't even say it was just because it was back in the day. Fluoride in our water, these dyes in our food, these pharmaceutical companies being able to put all these different pharmaceuticals out, give to us, pump all these pharmaceuticals onto us. Like I said, these companies work hand in hand. They create the disease and then they create medications to help you along with that disease, not even treat the disease. You learn to live with the disease. Like, I thank God. I'm so happy. I feel like this is the best thing that happened in this presidency. The allegiance between Trump and RFK Jr. Beautiful. It is God sent. I look at it like this is something this country has needed for a long time. Like, if you want to look at the biggest problems in this country, I feel like our health is a huge problem. The obesity rate, the diabetes rate, the ADD rates, the autism rates, the cancer rates, the osteoporosis. There's new diseases coming up every day. The allergies that all the kids have nowadays. Was it gluten allergies? What the hell is gluten? We weren't going through this before. We weren't going through this 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Especially not 40, 50 years ago. We didn't have all these diseases. Look at all these vaccines that we have to take now. I don't even know the number of vaccines that we have to take, but it's ridiculous. I know last time my daughter, like, I didn't even know she was getting vaccinated. First of all, I was at work. My girl took her to go get her shots. She ended up telling me afterwards, oh, the baby got her shot. I'm like, damn. Should have ran that by me beforehand. Apparently, before she got her shot, she was already coughing earlier that day. I guess she was feeling a little under the weather. She ended up getting an RSV vaccine. We ended up having to hospitalize her the following day. She ended up spending, I think it was 3-4 days in the hospital for RSV. So to me, I think she probably had it already because it's been going around. And then they go and give her a shot that has it, more of it, and gets her even sicker. Like, I don't understand why wouldn't they test her first to see if she's healthy enough to even take this shot? Test her first to make sure she's good. Give her a nose, the same nose swab you gave her in the hospital to see that she had RSV. You should have gave her that morning before you gave her the shot to make sure she was good. This don't make no sense. I mean, I don't know all the facts. I'm not a doctor, but like RFK just wants the facts. He wants the information. Let everyone get the information. Stop blocking information. Stop blocking the facts about what's really going on. I heard a lot of pharmaceutical companies, they actually have people that go on to Wikipedia whenever a new drug comes out, and the page is talking about all the side effects and stuff that really happens. The pharmaceutical companies have teams of people that go on to them Wikipedia pages and they change all the information. They don't want the truth getting out there. Like, we need the truth out there. We need someone like RFK to be the head of the Department of Health to make sure, like, we're looking at the facts. We're looking at what's really going on, and we really want to make this country healthy again because it's not. It's sad. The path that this country's going down health-wise compared to the rest of the world, it's sad. The stuff that we put in our food that we allow, it's sad. In fact, let's listen to RFK and see what he has to say about the situation. He has a lot more facts than I do. I just have sadness right now.
What most Americans innocently put into their bodies these days, and most alarmingly, into the bodies of their children. And it's no coincidence that Americans die earlier than Canadians or Germans or Italians or Japanese or Koreans or Australians or most any other comparable country. And it wasn't always that way. Until the early 1990s, our life expectancy was the same or better than other developed countries. Then suddenly, more and more Americans began suffering from chronic diseases, from obesity, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. Our maternal mortality rate soared to the highest of any developed country on earth. Same with infant mortality. Like the frog in the slowly boiling water, we didn't really notice as we got sicker and sicker. We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm, and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? A big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle. Let me show you what I mean. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Cap'n Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tetrazine, or yellow dye number 5.
Stuff is in every supermarket. We can't escape it. It's sad. I mean, probably places like Whole Foods you could probably go to. You won't get stuff like this. I'd never shopped at Whole Foods, honestly. There's only one in the area, probably like at least a half an hour drive away. And I hear it's expensive. Most people can't afford to shop at Whole Foods and buy organic foods and healthy foods. We have to buy this type of stuff, processed stuff that has all these chemicals given to us by companies that are just worried about making money. I don't remember when they were purchased. They weren't sold until the early 2000s. All the big food manufacturing companies, they were owned by a big tobacco company. And one thing about big tobacco companies, what's their main thing that they want you to do? They want you to be addicted to their product. They put stuff in cigarettes to be more addictive, to make people crave them more, to make people keep coming back. They did the same thing with food. They started realizing which ingredients people crave more. What can we put in these foods to make it more enjoyable, to make people want to come back and buy more, to make them addicted to it? They put different dyes in it, different chemicals, different additives, different things to make it more addictive. Like cigarettes. The cigarette companies no longer own these food manufacturing companies, but the practices of the addictiveness that has gone on. You can look at, you don't got to believe me, but you could go in your cabinet right now, pull down any box of anything, and look at the ingredient label. There's a bunch of chemicals on there. Riboflavin, glucose, which is a whole bunch of sugar, corn syrup, all these red dyes and yellow dyes and all these different dyes. Those are a whole bunch of different chemicals and additives to make this food more addictive, to make it more enjoyable. The colors to make it more attractive to your children. Yeah, they're directly coming at your children. Look at how colorful all the cereals are, all the different candies. They're coming for your children directly. Like they're poisoning your children. Like, why do you think like I said, the obesity rate is so high? ADHD, ADD so high. Autism is so high. All these different diseases are through the roof.
This dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. A century ago, it was just an obnoxious industrial byproduct that everybody was trying to figure out ways to get rid of. One of the ways that they did that was by paving roads. But then a British chemist figured out that the coal tar could be used to derive fabric dye. And if fabric dye, why not food?
Do you hear this? Like, that's what they're putting in our food. Byproducts of coal, some type of sludge. They turn it into a dye, and then they put it in our food. That red dye that was just banned, that was actually removed from lipstick because it was causing cancer and all types of stuff. But the crazy thing, it was removed from lipstick, but still be allowed to be put into food. This is DC for you. This is politics for you. Because a company lobbied, because some corporation lobbied, because they sent someone with influence, or they sent someone to DC, they got in their ears and they convinced them to change these laws to allow them to put this shit into our food. It's already been banned in lipstick, but we're still allowed to put it in our food and give it to our children.
Food manufacturers began using it to cover up the discoloration of low-quality foods that they wanted to pass off on unsuspecting customers. They didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries.
What do you expect? You're putting a byproduct of coal that some scientists did some shit to and turned into a dye that was originally a clothing dye, and you decided to put it into food. Decided to start consuming this stuff because probably some study was done somewhere and someone took it in a small amount and they're like, look, it didn't do nothing to me. I'm still okay. So let's put it on as a low quality food that looks like shit to brighten it up, to make it look good. And let's give it to our kids. Let's give it to the country. Let's make money off this because this makes our shitty product look so much good and now we can make money off of it. Leads to tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, and depression. Now doesn't that just sound like a whole list of all the problems going on in America right now, health-wise? Tumors, which is cancer, asthma. Who the hell do you like? Every family has people with asthma in it. Developmental delays. That probably goes right along with the fluoride in the water. Neurological damage. That's probably why there's so many violent people in this country. The stuff that they're eating is damaging their brain that they can't even make the right decisions because their brain is so messed up by the food that they're eating. ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption. And then you wonder why the testosterone levels and boys have been dropping. Why there's so many boys thinking they're girls and girls thinking they're boys and they're having issues with their hormones. They can't get their hormones under control. Oh, it's just being a teenager. No, this stuff is making it worse. It's hard enough being a teenager in America, especially in 2024, 2025. Now your food is causing hormone disruption too? Gene damage? Anxiety? Depression? This shit's going on everywhere. Come on, DC. Come on. Like start acting like you care about this country. Because you probably eat so good there. Matter of fact, a lot of them, no, hell no. They make over $100,000 a year. They could afford to eat good. So they don't even care what's in this food. Oh, I'm not giving that to my kid anyways.
We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. Today, it's made from petroleum, not coal tar. Either way, it's crazy to add this to your kid's favorite foods. It doesn't even change the flavor. This yellow dye isn't just in junk food. It's in the foods that we consider healthy. It's in everyday kids' snacks like popcorn, mac and cheese, fruit snacks. It's in sports drinks like Gatorade and so-called vitamin water. It's even added to chicken broth, to corn, to pickles, to mustard, and to yogurt. And so, of course, our kids get sick. and we lovingly feed them chewable vitamins which have, surprise, tartrazine. And so the cycle continues until the coughs and asthma kick in, at which point you go to pick up some cough syrup. And yeah, you guessed it, tartrazine. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food. I can make a video just like this to talk about Red 40, BHA, BHD, potassium bromate, chemical after chemical, and on and on and on. If just one of them can cause all of these problems, imagine what they're doing in combination. That has never been studied. If we took all of these chemicals out, our nation would get healthier immediately. We'd have fewer sick days. We'd have better focus. We'd have less anxiety. Our kids would learn more easily. We'd lose weight. We'd have more energy. We'd have fewer tumors and longer lives. It's not all dark. Over the past 16 years, the government has banned 8 chemical additives that cause cancer, genetic damage, asthma, and many of the other health conditions as tartrazine does. And you know what's interesting? All 8 of those crucial steps forward in our kids' health were taken under President Trump. But the Democrats who claim to be all about health care have stood by watching other countries ban these poisons and make our kids sick, asthmatic, hyperactive, and depressed. They left them on every supermarket shelf in America. They even used your tax money to put them in your kids' school lunch. So their big food and their big ag donors probably gave them all that golden handshake and the big money hug. And their big pharma donors probably called them up and thanked them also, because now they're going to make billions selling Adderall, Prozac.
Donald Trump, I beg you, one thing, please, if you don't do anything else during these next 4 years, at least get this guy, what he's pushing, at least get this done. For the future of our country. If you want our country to have any type of future, any type of productive future, this needs to change. This needs to stop. Because this is bullshit. Only 8 of these chemicals have been banned in the last 16 years. Like, a lot more needs to be looked at. Like, in-depth, conclusive study needs to be done on all of these chemicals that are being put in our food and not being funded by the same, not even, don't have it be done by the CDC. We need a completely independent third party company to do this research. Because even the CDC, they get pushed by lobbyists. We need a third party independent from a different country to come over here and study this. This is crazy. Something needs to be done with it. Like he said, once this gets done, this country will be so much healthier. We'll probably go through a rough patch where the whole country's going through withdrawal. But after that, we'll be okay. After the rainy days and the thunderstorms, there's always a sunny day. But this needs to be done, like, immediately. Immediately. We have Biden over here bragging. He's over here bragging about everything that the Democrats have done health-wise, what he's done health-wise for this country. Oh, I got the price of insulin lowered to $35. I put a cap that seniors would only pay $2,000 a year for their medication. I fought the insurance companies and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Bro, that doesn't fix anything. You're just making the problem more manageable. People are more comfortable with managing the problem, but you're not. That didn't actually fix anything. You're just managing a problem that's been going on. You really wanted to do something. You should have done this. You should have got these food companies to stop using these chemicals. I actually seen an article saying that Biden was trying to ban cigarettes altogether. Cool. I like that. That's one thing that's causing a whole bunch of issues and lung cancer and all that. I'm stuck on this thing because I used to smoke. I've smoked cigarettes for like 18 years. I'm trying to get off them big. Either way, like if you would do that, that would be great. You know, if you're trying to leave that as your legacy, that'd be great. But instead, you're sitting here you're trying to put stuff into the Constitution that you can't do.
Today, I affirm the Equal Rights Amendment to have cleared all the necessary hurdles to be added to the U.S. Constitution now. The Equal Rights Amendment is the law of the land now. It's the 28th Amendment to the Constitution now.
He said, because I'm saying it right now, it's going to be done now. But guess what, Biden? You can't do that. You can't just put something in the Constitution through executive order. You can't do that. Sorry, Biden. There's a process. You making that speech thinking that that's what you're doing before you leave is not happening. The only thing that you did before you leave is put this country into so much debt that they can't even spend any more money starting January 21st. He's trying to leave behind a good legacy. I think it was Chuck Schumer. He's the one that he came out. There's an article in the New York Times where he came out saying that he's the one that initiated. No, it was actually Nancy Pelosi that initiated the coup. But Chuck Schumer is the one that went and broke it down to him and basically told him if he don't step down, he's gonna be considered America's darkest president, something along those lines. So Biden's trying to leave some type of mark, some type of legacy behind, something good that he's done. Because other than that, we see what he's done or what he hasn't done, what he's allowed to happen. Price of food is through the roof. Eggs are through the roof. Everything is through the roof. Fuel's through the roof. Rent is through the roof. Crime is running rampant. We have illegals running everywhere, killing people and committing all these crimes. And the border's wide open. The spending is out of control. He's sending so much money across to other countries. But what has he done for America? What is one thing Joe Biden has done in this presidency for America? He dropped out. He gave us Kamala Harris, and we've seen how that dumpster fire went.
Big Sister General.
Cackling Kamala, the Black Indian, or whatever she is. Oh, man. I just wonder how Trump is gonna handle it because he got a lot in his hands right now. As far as the health, the economy, the wars going on. You know, Biden supposedly he brought an end to these wars. He lowered the price of all this stuff. Ozempia. It's so hard to say, Ozempia. Maybe it's because it's Ozempic and you're reading it wrong. That's why it's so hard to say. Representative Grace Meng, Democrat from New York, proposes a constitutional amendment to lower the voting age in the United States to 16. We got to stop voting these people in the office. That don't even make sense. Like, what is it? Like, grown-ups are too smart for you? You got to go after kids now to vote for you? Hey, we could easily sway the vote to these 16-year-olds. No, all the grown-ups are they have common sense. Their brains are developed. They have critical thinking. They could figure out we're a bunch of failures. So now let's appease to these 16-year-olds instead. We could get their vote. They're getting rid of all the illegals that we thought that we thought were gonna be able to vote for us. That we're gonna be able to pay for them and bring them over here and make them American citizens like that, and then they'll be voting for us. That's not gonna work. So let's get 16-year-olds. Why do people vote for these people? It's just more obvious. And the crazy shit is there are people that vote for these people. Because if you go into the comments, there's people that are cheering her on. Like, yeah, that's a great idea. I can't wait to go to the voting booth with my child next time. It's the dumbest idea ever. When I was 16, I ain't know shit about politics. They're teaching us about who the president was and all this and everything, and I ain't know shit. Remember, I was making little pictures. Like, we would get extra credit if we brought anything in about the election or whatever. This was when it was Bush and Gore going against each other. And I made like a little picture. It was like two little angels both looking sad that they both lost. Like, how would Bush and Gore lose if they're going against each other? Clearly, I ain't know shit at the time. I was young. But, yeah, they want to lower the voting age? Like, yo, these people are just running out of options at this point. Get this lady out of there. Who was that? Grace Meng. Meng, you get out of there, Meng. That shit don't make no dang sense. 2025, in a couple days, we're going to have a new president. Number 47, Donald J. Trump. He's going to be back. Got to prepare. Got a lot on your hands. We got a lot on our hands, country, U.S., United States of America. Let's hope our president does the right thing. We got to do the right thing. Hopefully they get this bullshit out of our water and out of our food. Let's hope Biden never steps foot in Washington, D.C. ever again, or Kamala Harris. I heard supposedly she's going to be running in 2028. Good luck on that. Honestly, I don't see Democrats being in office for a long time, especially if Trump fulfills a lot of the promises he's made and actually makes America great and makes this country a better place. So, good luck, Democrats. And, yeah. You're still here. I'd like to thank you for sticking around. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Check back in next week. We'll be going over the latest news and the latest headlines, breaking things down from my perspective. A young millennial father that actually cares about this country, that loves this country. Our future's here. My future's here. I want the best for this country. I want the best for you, America. Let's hope for a great 4 years. Hopefully 8 years, 12 years, longer than that. But yeah, let's just hope for the best, America. Donald Trump is the new president. If you don't like it, apparently there's things you could do. Go hug a tree or something. Go cry somewhere. But guess what? Donald Trump is number 47. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I hope to see you here next week. Hit that like and subscribe button. Again, I'm your host, Denali Patterson. Thank you.